my humble obeisances unto all the devotees present here by Zoom. So it is my pleasure. It is my great fortune to be with all of you from Mayapur Dham. So this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to gather together virtually and listen to Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means philosophies about Krishna and the philosophy that Krishna said. So I'd like to ask blessings from all the devotees present here, and I'd also like to chant small Mangala term, invoking blessings from the previous acharyas and my Gurudev. Om Jnanatim Dasya Jnanam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jaya Prataka Swami Niti Namini Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Padayani Gaurakata Damadaya Nitai Kripa Padayani Nam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Shri Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I can see all the senior devotees present here. So it's really not like I should give some knowledge to anyone. I should take blessings and I should learn from all of you. You're all senior in respect to age, experience, education, devotion. But still, sometimes we have to come to take up the responsibility, the role to discuss Lord's pastime. So please forgive me my incapabilities to doing so. Still, by the instruction of the seniors, I am trying to do. Okay, so we'll first listen from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. As it is customary here to listen from one of the verses. Today we're going to listen from verse number 27 from 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. You can just repeat after me yourselves. You can be muted. At the same time, you can repeat. Yat karasi yadasnashi Yat yoshi yadashi yat tapasyashi kunteya tat kuru samadarpanam Yat karoshi yadashnashi Yat yoshi yadashi Yat tapasyashi kunteya tat kuru samadarpanam Okay, we're going for the translation done by His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So we all can repeat. This is said by Krishna. This is Bhagavan Vacha, like Krishna's direct words. So we'll repeat. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me.
An offering.
Yeah, so this is very auspicious words said by Krishna. So we can get Krishna's blessing simply by reciting Srimad Bhagavad Gita verses. But Srila Prabhupada, being so compassionate, because we cannot really understand the depth of what Krishna says sometimes. So Srila Prabhupada very mercifully has given us Parpat, Bhaktivedanta Parpat. So what is very special about Srila Prabhupada's Parpat is it's called Bhakti Vedanta. It's like Bhakti or the devotional service is the conclusion of all the Vedic literatures. You know? So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he speaks about many philosophies. He sometimes speaks about Dhyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. He speaks about many other things like meditations, but ultimately he comes to the point of devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada, being very merciful, he is showing how this conclusion is drawn from every and single verses from Bhagavad Gita. So his purport is called Bhakti Vedanta. I mean, you get so much of bhakti, you get so much of attraction for Krishna, so much of love for Krishna simply by reading Bhakti Vedanta purport. So we are going to read Bhakti Vedanta purport. Thus, it is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstances. Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together, and Krishna recommends wherein that one should work for him. Everyone has to eat something to live, therefore he should accept the remnants or foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Any civilized man has to offer some religious ritualistic ceremonies, therefore Krishna recommends, do it for me. And this is called Archana. When you do something for Krishna, it is called Archana. So everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me. And this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized in furthering the Krishna consciousness movement. Nowadays, people are very much inclined to the meditational process, which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practices meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra around his beats, he is surely the greatest meditator and greatest yogi, as substantiated by the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So there are many key points actually. If we go and analyze this purport, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, like we have our natural tendencies. So Krishna is not telling that you give up your natural tendencies, right? That will be so much to demand. Sometimes even we ask people, give us this, give us that. You know, we don't say whatever you eat, you give us to me. Like when we go somewhere, it's sometimes it's customary that whatever the guest likes, then according to that, things will be prepared. The guest's preferences will be taken care of. So this is not a guest. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if any important person comes to your house, like sometimes, so suppose the prime minister or president of the United States, will he come and he will say, okay, whatever you eat, just give it to me. But it will be very humble of that if he says so. And he may say so, but the thing is that we don't just listen to that. We do so much extra thing for him, right? We just, suppose in India, we normally take rice dal sabji. So if a normal guest come, we prepare so much thing. And if the prime minister comes, what will you do? We'll prepare we'll learn what prime minister likes and all the good preparations, whatever is possible, like sweets and all types of paneer and extra things. So Krishna, he is asking from our natural tendencies. He is not saying that you give up your natural tendencies. So if you focus on the translation, he said, whatever you do, you give it to me. So how can you give whatever you do? So Srila Prabhupada says, like, our actions should be dovetailed to Krishna consciousness. Like, I can give an example on this. Like, two person, they work in the same office. Suppose in your office, you were one person, you were a devotee, and someone else, he is working also in the same office, but he is not a devotee. So what is the basic difference between two persons? The basic difference is like, you also work, he also works, you also get salary, he also gets salary. You also maintain your family, he also maintains his family. Right. So you're also helping the company to move ahead, he also helping the company to move ahead. And what happened once you retire, like at the end of your career, you will retire, and he will also retire. So, but there is a major difference in consciousness. The person who is devotee, he is every day serving Krishna with the money he is getting from working. So he's whatever he is doing, he is offering it to Krishna. Whatever salary he gets, whatever maintenance he gets from this company, he purchases food, he purchases food stuff, he cooks food, and he offers it to Krishna. Right? Then he goes to temples sometimes. Whenever he gets holiday, whenever it is time, he does sadhu sangha. He serves the Vaishnavas. He serves, in the preaching, in the spreading of the message of Krishna. So the same thing the two person is doing, but another person, what he'll do, he'll also eat. It's not that he'll not eat. He will eat, but he'll eat not offering to Krishna. So there is a major difference. You don't have to do so much of extra effort. You just have to, engage. You have to just dovetail Krishna. So here it is. Whatever you do, you can offer it to me. Like if you are doing some service, somehow we should have a purpose that, yeah, it should somehow come to Krishna's service, Krishna's devotee service. It should come to somehow, in the spreading of Krishna's message. So in this way, we can do that. And whatever you eat, it's very simple. We eat fruits, we eat water, we eat whatever sabji, you can offer it to Krishna. And we have natural tendencies to give away, we give away to people, we give away to our friends, we give away to some orphanages, sometimes some non-profit organizations. Yeah. But you know that what is the whom to give? I mean, it depends. Like it's not the same. If you put money to some people who are using this, maybe sometimes that is used as a sinful purposes. Like sometimes you see in beggars in the street, you give money, and what they'll do, they'll just simply purchase some liquor and they'll just be drunkards. So sometimes they're thinking that, okay, charity, we're giving charity, but this is not helping. And many times we give charity to some other organizations also that is not also used properly. Even if they're using the funds, but that is only for material purposes, only for giving some temporary relief from hunger, from education, like. But the best place to give charity is in activities related to Krishna consciousness. So if you study deeply, you understand those things. But Krishna is making the principle simple for us. And whatever austerities you perform. So many people, they perform austerities. In our history, if you go, you'll see that the famous demons like Ravana, like Hiranyakashipu, they also performed austerities, great austerities. They did way more than what we are doing now. But that was proven useless because they didn't do austerity for Krishna. they're destroyed. They're still engaged in sinful activities even after getting the rewards from their austerities. So Krishna is saying that we should give our austerities to Krishna to get the best result from austerities. So do this, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So Krishna is saying this, and Srila Prabhupada is saying that everything should be performed in Krishna's pleasure. So because if we simply use everything, like our work, our energy, our wealth in other activities, that will only bind us in our karmic reactions. So whatever we do in this world, we have to suffer for the karmic reactions. The biggest question of every person in this world is why we are suffering. So the result is this: because we are not doing it for Krishna. So that is why we are getting suffering. And you'll see that in India, the wealthy people, they give charity. And nowadays people say, okay, why what the religious people are doing? So many people are starved. So many people, they don't get food. So many people are poverty stricken. Srila Prabhupada is saying that this is the result. When the wealthy people, they stop giving charity, this happens. So many people in this world, they have way more wealth than they need. So a major portion of this wealth are meant actually to, for the benefit of others who are not so wealthy, who are poverty stricken, who doesn't get food. And because they are not Krishna conscious, they are losing the tendency to give. They are accumulating, simply accumulating. So Krishna is saying that, yeah, they should give charity to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada here is saying the Krishna consciousness movement, this is using the wealth in the best way. We are not simply using the wealth simply to give food or other things. Of course, ISKCON is the biggest provider of vegetarian food for free throughout the whole world. But still, the difference is the consciousness. They're uplifting the consciousness. They're building the habit. That they're actually giving pious credits to the wealthy people. What happens if you don't give taxes? Your money becomes black money. What is black money? That you don't give the proportion government is supposed to get from you. So this is what happens. Our life becomes black. Black because why? Because we are taking facilities from Krishna. Just like we get facilities from the country, we provide for taxes. If we don't provide taxes, the government they can put allegations, like they can also put us in jail also. They can punish us. So we are getting this oxygen, we are getting light from sun. So many facilities are organized, but what happens if we don't give our portions, our taxes? We'll have to get punishment. This is what happens. If a wealthy person doesn't give in charity, then his whole wealth becomes contaminated. That is considered as sinfully accumulated money. So he cannot be happy with that. He has to suffer for that, and also the wealth is not equally distributed. Anyway, so there are practical problems actually that is arising because of not people practicing Krishna consciousness. So this is very easy. Not actually that you'll have to give large amount of wealth. It is only said that whatever is like you'll anyway do. You'll anyway eat. You'll anyway give away your wealth to people because this is our natural tendency. So why should we not give it to Krishna? So this is very simple. Still, there are very less percentage of people who does that. So this is a very important lesson for us. Krishna being so merciful, he is giving so much of opportunity. If we go like 2-3 verses like next to these verses, one point Krishna will say, give me your mind also. So mind is the best thing you can give actually. If you give someone your mind, then you actually have nothing left to give. Anyway, if we cannot give mind, we can at least offer to Krishna. We can at least do whatever we already do. Simply remember Krishna just at the time of eating. That's it. So this is Bhagavad Gita lesson for us. And we'll also see that Krishna's mercy is not only coming as an instruction from this. Krishna is inventing very, very new ways to give us mercy, to somehow engage us in his service. So this is one of the attempts. Previously, the means to get Krishna's mercy is very rigid. Like in Dhyan Yoga, in Gyan Yoga, you'll have to do very big amount of austerities. Like in Ashtanga Yoga, you'll have to go to a secluded place. You'll have to maintain brahmacharya, no grihastha life, no sex life, nothing. You'll have to just simply focus on sadhana. But Krishna is being very accommodating for us. And one of the biggest thing is coming up in India currently. It's vibed here very much. Like Ratha Yatra is coming. So currently this is Krishna's one form you must be knowing, Jagannath. So few days back we had Snan Yatra. Now we are waiting for the Ratha Yatra. Rath's chariot in India. It's very famous. Jagannath Puri, they have the biggest gathering of the chariot pulling festival. And this is something we have to understand. This is also Krishna's way to reach us. Some of us are so sinful that we don't get time to go to temples. There are many people who have never been to any temple, especially if you see that people from other religions also. So they never go to temple. But Jagannath, Krishna, when he is coming as Jagannath, he is being so merciful that he is coming to streets to give darshan, to give mercy to those who never goes to temple. So this is a chariot driving festival, Rath Yatra. And you'll be surprised, I don't know, maybe you know already, that this Rath Yatra festival, this Jagannath deity is the first deity that was worshipped in America after Srila Prabhupada went to America. So in the beginning, he was only speaking from Bhagavad Gita scriptures, but they had no deity. But one day, one devotee, he come up with a doll, So he thought that this is very interesting and this is from India. So he showed Prabhupada this doll. He thought it a doll. And Prabhupada immediately he put humble obeisances. And he says, this is Jagannath. So where did you get this? I got it in a toy selling shop. And did you purchase it? No, he didn't even purchase it. He just took it away from there. And Prabhupada said, okay, find his counterparts. If Jagannath is here, Baladev and Subhadra Maharani will also be there. So they went there and they looked for the deities and they got it in small size. So Srila Prabhupada instructed his disciples that you carve a big deity in this way, like Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra deity. And according to Srila Prabhupada's instructions, deities came up and they had a big Ratha Yatra festival in San Francisco. So this is the way Jagannath, he went to abroad. He went there to give mercy. So this where this Jagannath Baladev Subhadra form is coming from. If you see, this form is very unique. It's not a form of like other forms of Krishna. Like Krishna is coming as Krishna, Ramchandra, and other incarnations, but this is very different. This is not a human also. You'll see that Jagannath is having round eyes. He is having like a very short body but very big eyes. He has his arms like stretched like this. He's waiting for everyone to embrace. So when you see, if you're familiar with the deity worship process, it is very intricate and you need to be very qualified. You'll have to be Brahman initiated. You'll have to have Gayatri initiation, Upavit initiation to even do some service to the deities. Otherwise, you cannot do any service. You cannot even enter in the Garbhagriha, in the main altar of the deities. But when Jagannath is coming on the streets, any person, any common man, he can climb the chariot and he can embrace Jagannath. And this is allowed. So this is you can just imagine like how it's possible. Like any person, normally what happens, we are not very pure always, because to be pure we'll have to take baths, we'll have to chant mantras to be pure internally, and externally have to take baths. But in Rath Yatra, many people come and we never know from where they're coming, from which caste they're coming. Caste is also a big thing in in terms of deity worship. So if you are not Brahmana, you cannot touch the deities. But here in streets, even the Shudras, even not who outside the Varnashram Dharma, they can also come and they can embrace Jagannath. So this is so much mercy. We cannot just imagine it. Like it is possible to embrace Jagannath on the huge chariot in Puri. It happened. I personally have known some devotees. Now this practice has been stopped because the government has stopped this practice because of security issues. But 10 to 15 years back, normal person, they would give some pranami to the pandas and they would easily get access to Jagannath and they can do whatever they do. And one person, he said, like he was sitting with Jagannath. He embraced Jagannath for 5 minutes. He went there and he just embraced Jagannath and he remained like this for 5 minutes, like that. So this is unimaginable. So where from this deity is coming from? There is a very interesting story also behind that. So this is a form, Krishna's form in ecstasy. Krishna is always very beautiful. He's smiling, he's playing flute, he's most charming. But this form of Krishna is something that he is enchanted by himself and his activities. So Krishna Lila, Krishna Katha, the discussions about Krishna and his pastimes is not only attractive for devotees, not only attractive for the listeners. Now we listen about Krishna's pastimes and we get attracted because he is the most loving, most loving boyfriend of the gopis. He's the ultimate hero. He's the ultimate son. So Krishna is superior in every aspect. But this Krishna, when he hears, when he even sees himself, he gets enchanted. Like this is such attractive thing about Krishna. So once in Dwarka, Krishna had 16,000 wives. He made 16,000 queens, and they were all serving Krishna all day and night. But sometimes they would notice that Krishna is like he is lost in his thoughts. He is not really present here. He is not really pleased with their service. He's not always with them. So he is not giving full attention to his queens. So the queens, they were wondering, even we are giving best our service to Krishna. So why he sometimes thinks of Vrindavan? So what was there in Vrindavan that we don't have in Dwarka? We have everything. We have big palaces. We have 16,000 queens to take care of Krishna. And not only queens, Krishna had a family that had family member exceeding 1 lakh. I mean, 1 lakh means like 100,000 members in his family. He had lots of sons and grandsons, grandsons, all the big family Krishna used to have in Dwarka. But still, he lived in Vrindavan for 11 years, 6 months, and he was meditating on this. So even after many years, Krishna was even very absorbed in his pastimes in Vrindavan. So the queens, once they inquired Mata Rohini, so they asked, like, what is that they have in Vrindavan that we don't have in Dwarka? And Mother Rohini says, see, the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan is very, very loving, it's very, very ecstatic. But I cannot say this in front of Krishna and Balaram, because if they listen to this, then maybe they will return back to Vrindavan and maybe they will be ecstatic. We cannot predict what they'll do. So one day they had an arrangement, like Krishna and Balaram was outside. They had gone for some business. And that day, the 16,000 queens, they organized an assembly that Mother Rohini is going to speak about Krishna's pastimes of Vrindavan. And Subhadra, Krishna's sister, she was put as a guard, gate man. So she was supposed to give hints. She was supposed to give indication when Krishna Balaram will be coming. So that time they will stop discussing about these pastimes. So Mother Rohini started narrating the pastimes of Krishna taking birth, and Mother Yashoda churning butter, and he is stealing butter from all the places, from all the gopis in Vrindavan, and he used to travel the milkmaids. He used to travel all the Radharani and all the associates. So all the melodious, sweet pastimes, one after she was going on narrating, and no one had any idea, like the time they were passing and what is happening. They were simply absorbed in listening to this pastime because Mother Rohini was there and she was describing this artist. And Subhadra, who was on the gate, was supposed to give signal when Krishna Balaram is coming. She was also lost so much. She was also absorbed so much in this pastime that she didn't notice that when Krishna Balaram they came and they also started listening. So she forgot to give signal. So what happens? Krishna's Balaram, they're standing each side, one side Krishna and one side Balaram of Subhadra, and they're listening the pastime that Mother Rohini is describing to the queens. And when they listen to this, their ears become big, like in ecstasy, and their bodies squeezed in ecstasy, and they're enchanted by listening to the pastimes they did, and they're also thinking, really, is the thing we did in Vrindavan, is this so nectarian? Is this so captivating? So they all were in ecstasy. So this is the form that was created when they were all standing outside the gate. Baladev, Subhadra, and Jagannath. They were standing, and this is like their ecstatic form when they remember their exchange in Vrindavan. This is their form. And Narad Muni, he came, Narayan, Narayan, and suddenly they came to senses. Oh, we're listening to our pastimes, and they reduced to their original form. But Narad Muni said, "See, I have taken darshan of this very special form of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. But when we're residing, I have traveled all the universe. I have traveled all the Vaikunthas. Narad Muni, he's a transcendental spaceman. He has access to go anywhere at anywhere, like spiritual world and material world. he can go anytime, anywhere. He has got this, benedictions for preaching purpose. Yeah. Okay. So Narad Muni, he says like, where do you reside? So Jagannath says like, I reside in a very special place. That is, you know, on the banks of the blue oceans, on the top of the blue hill, and I am worshipped as blue god, Nil Madhav. So there is first times how they got this Nil Madhav and they installed the deities in Jagannath Puri, and for thousands of years Jagannath is being worshipped in Puri, and by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, Puri temple is such a temple that you don't have access. Everyone cannot enter to Puri temple. Only Indians can enter to Puri. Not that is also for those who comes under Varnashram, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Those who are beyond the uh, caste, they cannot come. Like the Chandalas, the Mlechas, they cannot come and enter the temple. But Srila Prabhupada, he made it accessible for the whole world. Even now, Jagannath is worshipped in each and every temple. In many houses, we have Jagannath. In America, in Europe, in Russia, we have Jagannath. And all the people, those who are known as Mlecha people, who are really outcasted, they can also now having opportunity to serve Jagannath. So Jagannath Rath Yatra is coming in India. So if you ever have opportunity, please come Jagannath Puri, especially if you have opportunity to come during Rath Yatra and make your life successful. And it is said in the glorification of Rath Yatra that if a person he touches the rope by which the chariot is pulled, so he will surely go back to Godhead. He will surely receive the love of Godhead. So this is very auspicious. This is a very powerful thing for us, to elevate ourselves to the devotional activities. And Krishna is always, coming up with new options, new opportunities for us to engage in his service. So yeah, I think Rath Yatra is also celebrated in your places, also in America, but at different times. But I'm sure you will enjoy being in Rath Yatra, taking Jagannath Baladev Subhadra's mercy. So I would like to stop here, and I'd also invite you to at least watch virtually. You can go to Mayapur TV to see the Mayapur Rath Yatras, and Kolkata Rath Yatras is also very big, very famous. So you can see all these things virtually by mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So I'll just stop here, and if anyone has any comments or anyone has to say anything, we just can listen. Thank you very much. Handing over to Brinda. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for a very elaborate class describing how loving and merciful Lord Krishna is to us through this verse, and also describing the glories and the pastimes of Lord Jagannath, since this whole month is dedicated to Jagannath and celebrating Rath Yatra and everything related to Jagannath. So thank you so much for sharing the story of how Jagannath got his form. So does anyone have any questions or comments for our speaker? Okay. There. Yes, from our side, does anyone have any questions? So Baba Sharkarji just said that you spoke very nicely and you elaborated really well. Okay.
Thank you very much. Please forgive me for my incapabilities in describing these pastimes, because pastimes are like that. Even Anantashes with his 1,000 mouths, he cannot say enough of the Lord's glories and pastimes. So I'm very insignificant and unqualified person to say, but still by your blessing, I try to narrate whatever I remember and learn. So please bless me so that I can be in your service. Hare Krishna.
I'm always impressed with your lecture.